Hey y'all, it's your girl Nadia,
And it's me, Coach T.
and we are two average people.
Yes, we are.
We are back again, and I have some questions for this one right
Oh boy,
here
here we go.
because I want to know some stuff,
All
right?
right.
And I guess you're wondering what I'm talking about, and that's talk therapy with men.
All right.
So,
Okay.
babe,
Yeah.
why is it that a lot of the time when you bring up therapy with men, it seems like you guys shut it out or shut it down? Like, I'm not doing that. That's for people who have issues, or that's for men who can't get their stuff together. Why do I need to do that? This is, I want to know.
Okay. Wow,
What?
that's a loaded question. There are many answers to that question, and trying to not treat any man as a monolith from any culture or background or experience. One of the big things I know across the board for men is appearing weak or
Mm,
appearing helpless or appearing like they can't be the solution and not just the problem. There is something that is very, very jarring for a man, especially when it comes to in relations to a woman, that he does not want to appear as the one who just does not or is not capable of providing. And so, from a
interesting.
very overarching perspective, a perspective that I think as a man, most other men can agree with is we just don't want to appear weak. We don't want to appear like we can't be the ones who can hold it down. Yeah.
Interesting. So, do you feel that that has been, is that the feeling or the understanding across all cultures, or do you feel that's particularly in the black community?
Well, it's most certainly in the black community. But
Mm,
to answer your first question across all cultures, I'll say this: most men across cultures deal with women in a similar way. We want to be the ones who provide the things that need to be provided, and we want to be the ones who have respect from the community and the family. Now that can say
mm,
that that's across culture, that's across color, that's across nations and continents, in my opinion.
yeah.
Now that doesn't cover every single body in every single scenario and every single thing, but I do believe that for the majority of humans on the planet, that is a truism. Yeah.
It's just so interesting because, yes, I feel like for a long time, therapy in general was kind of taboo, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or stigmatized, or however you want to put it.
That's
Like,
true.
I think that even for women, it's, now I think it's more accepted,
I can say that. I could definitely say
right?
that.
But
And
back growing up,
oh man,
our parents, you tell talk to our parents about therapy. They look at us and be like, girl,
therapy.
you better talk to
We,
God. We're talking about no therapy. Like, what is that? Well, you
yeah.
don't need therapy, right? Because therapy was associated with people who had issues. But we all have
But we all have
issues. Like,
issues,
I
right?
don't ever feel like we're supposed to take on anything by ourselves.
Yeah.
Else, why would we have people? Why would we have relationships? Why would we have anybody else? I know there's some people that live in the world and move about the world by themselves, but as a man, as
Yeah,
a
that part.
black man
That part.
who is held to the
That part.
standard of provision, protection, um,
Prophecy.
prophecy,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
You have so much. You're supposed to be the head of the household, and then you have to be a good father and a good man and a good husband, and you have to be loving and caring, and you have to do a lot of things. How how are you supposed to do that all on your own?
I think the problem is even more compounded by being a black man in
Mm,
America,
absolutely.
having to deal with black issues in America, which are just so singular for the American experience, and still having to do all those things as you quite rightly mentioned. And I don't know. I feel like there's a way that we as black men kind of maneuver around these issues. However, I do think that there is a way to deal with these issues. You know what? I think we have a clip to talk to it.
Okay.
Let's
All
just watch
right.
the clip,
Let's
and I
watch
think
this.
this might give
That
us
might
a
help.
better sense
Okay.
of what this is. Here we go.
All right.
Therapy approaches are not designed to help the male brain deal with pain or find solutions. That makes men believe therapy is worthless. Male depression is usually based on feeling helpless, powerless, and unable to affect one's life or environment. Therapy models focus on helping men feel heard and loved instead of restoring their sense of personal power. Men need solutions, not just feelings.
Okay.
So yes,
Right. Yes, I do. As somebody who's done therapy before, they do focus a lot on emotions.
yes, and it is the emotional impact from a therapeutic perspective that will bring the change that we want to see in our outward lives. So by changing ourselves inwardly, emotionally, we can have a better chance of affecting our world outwardly,
Ah.
or at least dealing with those changes. But I think that takes into consideration a type of person and the way that men are socialized. We're not socialized to be that type of person. We're not socialized to relate to the emotional. So even before
Mm.
we get to the part where we're able to be in a healthy space emotionally, we have to start. If you all as women start at 0 in therapy and have to work your way up, we're starting at -10 and have to work our way to 0
Mm.
in order to then start to work our way past that. And I think that's his point was very valid. We don't talk to men about our pain. Men are in constant pain, and that pain is a lot of the times emotional, but it's also mental. And quite frankly, what we're told is to just deal with it as a man. Just man up. The problem is with man up is then pain across all spectrums that pain can be experienced is supposed to be ignored. Is supposed to be ignored by a man. And then you ask a man to go to therapy and be better. How? Because we're not able, even in therapy, to address our pain. We're just told what's wrong with us, and this is what we need to do to fix it.
But pain is sometimes viewed as a feeling. You feel pain, right? Some people may say you experience pain, but the truth is you feel pain. Like when I was having London, I got an epidural. It's no longer pain because I don't feel it, even though the same thing that was happening inside my body to cause the pain was still happening. So what is my point? What's your point, preacher? My point is this. Pain is a feeling,
Right.
but you don't want to necessarily address the feeling because as men, you are solution oriented. I know with you, a lot of the time, what I've experienced is when I'm coming home and I'm stressed about whatever. He's like, he doesn't say this, but as a man, I know him. Let's get to the solution? Because all the stuff in between is just us talking and crying and all the emotions that it's like, okay, but here's the solution.
I'm better at it now.
You
Come on.
are. I
Need some love.
mean, yeah, right, but
No.
he's great. but seriously, when we talk about pain, that's a feeling, and I don't know how men necessarily associate with feeling. And so
let me stop you here. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you
I
off.
just want to say one last thing before you say what you're going to say. I think before we get to the solution, we do have to understand the feeling. But I can't say that 100% because I think as women, that's how we go about it.
Right, and that's exactly my point.
But we
That's
can't just
exactly
dump
my
to
point.
they can't go into therapy and you say, yeah, well, I've been feeling this, this is what I'm experiencing. And they're like, okay, solution. They have to get to know you. There has to
That's
be.
true. That's true. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, listen.
How do we set this up in a way that would work for you guys?
Listen, because and this is
That
it.
is my question.
This is it. What you're talking about is talking about pain from a perspective of a feeling.
Right.
However, for us, it's not a perspective of a feeling. Pain is a perception of an experience. So now what we do is we cut off men from being able to talk about our experiences.
So like a past experience.
A past
will cause pain.
A past experience or a past trauma, being able to talk about the experience on the whole is part of what makes
not the feeling.
So
let's take my same example. Okay, I don't feel the pain because they gave me medicine for it. You want to talk about what's causing the pain.
The experience on the whole, which would include the feelings, but not limited to.
I see. So more than, oh my gosh, this hurts. You want to talk about, oh, my cervix is dilating. I mean, it's a bad example for men.
Not necessarily, because
you want to say, okay, no, what is happening in your body that is causing the pain?
Yes, because one of the things that he brought in the video, one of the other things that he brought was in order to bring back power, in order to understand how to take power back as a man. Yes. And as a man, I can't just rely on my feelings to take power back. That's not how you're going to get the best class of man. And let's keep this a buck, right? The type of men that most women want are not the type of men that do not know how to take power.
Right. Okay.
So what we can't do is just send our men to therapy and go talk about your feelings, because I know for me it helps. Yay. Because I don't experience that. And in order for me to take power back, guess what I got to do? The same thing I always knew I had to do was fix problems, get to the root of the issues, and be a part of the solution and not the problem. And I'm not going to be able to do that just by going, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurt. Yes, we got it. Because even me saying that repeatedly was annoying, even to me as a man, because I didn't get to why it hurt, where it hurt, how to fix it. What am I supposed to do about it? Is anybody else hurting like this? How can I fix their pain? How can I make this not happen again? How can I future-proof this? How can I make sure that this is not something that my kids are going to be visited upon? How can I make sure that we're okay? All of those I got to address. And by not addressing all of those, for a lot of men, not every man, but for a lot of men, we run into the problem of becoming, for whatever this might sound like, feminine. In that we're talking about the feeling without talking about solution and without having the tools to go about finding or going about in a masculine way, finding those solutions that is also healthy and beneficial to those around us and not detrimental.
So do you feel like more men would be, I feel like I'm interviewing him, y'all.
Let's go.
Do you feel like more men would be open to therapy if they knew the therapist could really target the things that they feel like they may be lacking, like the power and like those things, and they can really target the root? Or do you think that this is something that has to start and starting to be ingrained in our young boys? That it's okay not to necessarily, you should be emotional. No, not necessarily that, but it's okay to need help. It's okay to need someone. It's okay to talk. I mean, it might be a combination of both, but I feel like I know some men that no matter what you say, no matter how good a therapist was, they will not go to therapy.
Yeah, because I know a lot of men who go to therapy and feel attacked. And they feel attacked not because the therapist is attacking them, but because they don't know how to deal with their emotions in the first place.
Interesting.
So walking into an environment that's 100% about my emotions is too jarring an experience.
Yeah. No.
It's just too jarring an experience. Yeah. I don't know how to operate from this vantage point. It is what it is.
But that's not necessarily always a man thing. That's
a people thing. That's exactly right.
Particularly with men, black men, where you're like, case, no, be a man, toughen up.
Toughen up.
Don't Don't cry. You better not, you get it together. You pull it together. Don't worry about, you just suppress,
And a lot of us have,
suppress,
and a
suppress.
lot of us men have had this experience of being in love with a girl, or being, wanting a girl or something like that. And you're exactly what you say. You're exactly what she says she wants in a guy. You're loving, you're caring, you're thoughtful, you're in touch with your emotions, blah, 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 blah. Only for her to turn around and pick the bad boy.
I'm not gonna
Because,
lie. I've had women that have looked at me and be like, "Yeah, I had to let him go because he was too emotional."
right. And immediately so. It's not
It's
even
not
like,
right, and it's not funny. It's not
but it
right,
is
but it's
true.
true.
It's
I've
true.
had women tell me that, and I'm
Right.
thinking. But
So
then I've had on the other side of women be like, he doesn't talk to me enough. I wish he would talk to me like his friend.
you need
And
to go
it's
get a
like,
best friend. Is what you need in that instance. I'm just keeping it a buck, because a lot of the time what you're asking a man to do is to become the feminine best friend you want,
but
while
also
also
not.
maintaining the
Yeah,
masculine
yeah.
elements that make you sexually attracted to him, which for a lot of men is confusing as hell. We don't know what that means. What? You want me to be a man and be a woman? I don't understand what that means.
And so, how do you ever be who you are?
That's the part in it.
This is what makes it hard.
And this is where you get men that stonewall.
Yeah, yeah,
Because that person has learned through experiences like what we've discussed, that holding your place, holding your masculine frame is vastly more important than anything she's going to tell you, ask of you, or need of you.
yeah.
Period, point blank, period.
Yeah.
Am I saying that's right? Nope. Am I saying that's what's true? Yep. A lot of men believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And that's why instead of arguing and fussing and fighting with you, he'll do this. Mm-hmm. Mm.
And do you find that that's the same response when they go to therapy?
Yes.
Mm.
Until something is triggered in them and they have a big response. That's when you get the guy who's like this, and you always, and you're.
That's all of that's been suppressed over years. That's now coming out.
Yes.
And it's so
but there's no
hard
healthy way for it to come out, so it comes out like an erupting volcano.
And now the therapist can feel attacked,
Well, the therapist would, if they're good, they would at least know what they're looking at.
True.
But the problem is the therapist can know what they're looking at all day. If, as the man in that situation, I don't know what I'm looking at when I look in the mirror in that case, I'll go back to stonewalling, because I either appear like a weak, emotional man who can't control himself, or I say nothing at all. One of those, at least, I get to maintain my internal dignity.
But can you, at that point, if you go, you say, I'm going to give this a try, and you go to therapy and you find that, boy, could you at least say to yourself at that point that, you know what? Did I really give this a try?
Yeah, see, that's
because because I think a lot of the time, and no offense to my men, I love, men are, no offense, but could you, because you guys are so solution oriented, you want sometimes that solution very quickly. And so 2-3 sessions in, no solutions are happening. You're like, this is why I'm not doing this. This is not working for me because we ain't getting to those solutions yet. And it's like, okay, but we got to give it time to actually get to that point. And I feel like a lot of the time, and I know when we've even had discussions, it's like, let's talk about solution. I don't have time to deal with all the stuff in between.
Yeah. Well, here's what I would say to that. To answer the question, there was a lot there, but to answer the question, I think that men do need to give therapy a more open try and to give it time. The problem is we're not even told that a lot of the time when we go into it.
Right.
And so our version of give it time is whatever we thought made sense. I've been going
there a month, and it's not.
I'm expected to come up with solutions immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. If there is something wrong, everybody looks at dad and goes, what do we do? Dad can't go, oh. It doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. So when you tell me 3 sessions and we need to give it more time, wait, I'm supposed to come up with solutions immediately, but now 3 sessions in is not enough time? How much? The question that flies in my mind is, well, how much time is enough time? Damn, 10, 15, 20 sessions? Should we be in here for 2 years before we can count a solution? Because from my perspective, if it's to fix our marriage, you're already gone in that time. I can't have 2 years to fix the mortgage payment. they're coming in 2-3 months to kick us out.
Right.
Everything
in your life is
everything in our
been
yes,
time.
it's been time.
You don't have time.
We don't have the time
Right,
to
right.
sit around and go, "Kumbaya, my Lord." No, we don't have that time. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
We don't.
I understand better some of the perspectives of where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Where men are coming from as far as talk therapy
But
goes.
a healed person understands
Yeah.
that for the thing that you want, there is time. And like everything else and everyone else on the planet, you'll make time for
And
what
space.
you want.
Absolutely.
So if you want to be healed, you'll make the time to be healed.
Yeah.
But in order to want that, we have to understand as men what is the benefit for us putting in that time. And the other thing is, don't call it time, call it investment. Learn how to talk to men to men. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to talk to men
In a way that
to men, right?
Yeah.
To learn how to talk to a man like a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
that gives us a chance to at least sync up vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? Because if you talk to a man about spending time, all he hears is time spent / wasted.
Mm.
If you talk to a man about investing his time, now you got him thinking about the benefits, even if it takes a long time.
That was a great example, baby. That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now as a
yes.
woman, you don't have to become masculine to talk to dudes. You just
It's just
use some of our
understanding.
own buzzwords with us, not against us, with us, so that we can go with you.
Right.
Does that make
That
sense?
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That is, yeah, babe. Thanks for talking about that.
Absolutely.
That really helped me
And
understand it.
And men are not a monolith. I don't speak for every man.
Yeah.
So what I really want to do is hear about other men's experiences in the comment section down below. If you have an experience about therapy, positive, negative, or neutral.
Yeah.
Or if your best friend was your therapist and there was an experience that you guys had, you guys were out fishing one day and they just said something to you that was so profound that you just had a moment, even if that moment was complete silence. Tell me about it down below, because I think it's important for our women to understand how we operate and not just to have us with the expectation to operate like them, because a lot of us just don't. And some of us can pull it off and some of us can't.
And I got to give a shout out to my hubby here and all the men talking about this, because even just talking about it, talking about the thing is something that, sometimes a lot of men don't feel comfortable doing.
Yeah.
And so shout out to you, babe, for just shedding that light, because that's how we learn more.
Yeah.
One, you have to be open to learning.
You have to be open.
Right?
That's for sure.
Totally open to learning and hearing what somebody's saying to you. But we need men like this to be open to sharing this.
Yeah. That's
because
important.
it's like we can just say, oh, men ain't gonna go to therapy, none of them ain't. But the truth is there's some really, there's more to it.
There's more to it than
that we have to be open to hearing and learning. And so, babe, thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Because it's really important.
And I hope I did us justice, fellas. So let me know if I did or didn't. And make sure you like and subscribe and follow us for more. We have a lot more topics that we want to cover. And we have a lot of materials coming out this year for our couples to be able to make sure that they're doing the best they can for themselves individually, so that they can be the best they can for one another.
Yes.
Because no matter what else we believe one thing, and that is we are better together.